Good morning, everybody, and a happy Thursday morning. Another video chock full of information. You're just not going to want to miss this. Oh my God. Let's just jump in and get busy, shall we? Let's go. I want to say a big thank you to my subscriber, Vicky, for the glasses, the readers that were on my Amazon wish list. Hey, Vicky, I saw where you said you live. Send me an email. Maybe we can meet up for lunch. It seems like we're pretty close to each other. All right, let's jump into our story for today. We're going to start off with King Charles. As the royal founding president of the King's Foundation, he visited the Garrison Chapel, which is the charity's exhibition space in London, to see a new exhibition, Marie of Romania, Artist Queen. Now, the Garrison Chapel regularly hosts exhibitions of work created by students and graduates of the King's Foundation, as well as exhibits and events of wider cultural interest. The Romanian Cultural Institute in London is hosting this exhibition of watercolors, many of which have never been seen in the public before. All right, moving on. This next up is also hilarious. Apparently, there was a prize-winning pedigree Sussex cow. Her name was Poppy. She was one of the stars of an event at Clarence House. Apparently, she knocked over a table. She stamped on one of the royal hedges during a reception. Now, remember, Charles formed an organic food brand in 1990 using produce from Highgrove before being taken over by Waitrose in 2009, with a portion of profits going to charities supported by the King Charles Charitable Fund. And more than 1,000 organizations have benefited from this scheme. So Charles puts on some sunglasses. He was introduced to Poppy and her handler, Leighton Snellgrove, who thanked the king for all you do for young farmers. Now, this breeding cow has won multiple prizes at county shows, then made the king laugh because she knocked over the table. She crashed into the low hedge. And the guy looked at the King Charles and went, "Yeah, sorry about your garden." And a few minutes later, King Charles walked off to speak to other guests, and the cow decided to pee on the pathway. Listen, if you're going to have a cow, that's what's going to happen. Now, I'm asking the guy, when the handler was asked about Poppy's running with hedges, he goes, "Yeah, I don't want footprints all over the lawn." And the king said, "It's fine, don't worry about it." Oh my God, how cute. Now, after talking to people and doing what the king normally does, he went over and he cut what looks to be a fabulous cake. He is just having way too much fun. I really like this guy. He just looks like he's enjoying himself. All right, let's move on. Let's move on now to the Princess Anne, the Princess Royal. She visited and opened the newly built Bruce House Army Reserve Centre in Dunfermline, Scotland. She was welcomed there by the commanding officer. She was taken a tour of the facilities. She met soldiers from the regiment. She heard firsthand how the modern purpose-built center will benefit the training and service. Now, Dunfermline serves as the regimental headquarters for the 154th Scottish Regiment, as well as housing the 239th Fife Transport Squadron and the Dunfermline Detachment of the Black Watch Battalion Army Cadet Force. This facility provides a modern base that enhances training, recruitment, and retention, ensuring the regiment is well placed to continue its vital role in the Royal Logistics Corps. I love it. Let's move on. Next up, we have Zara and Mike Tyndall. They went to the Langham Hotel in London with some other guests for the Deborah's 10th anniversary Great Chef's Dinner. Ooh, that sounds good. This marks a decade of fundraising in support of people living with a rare genetic condition, epidermolysis bullosa. This is part of an inherited group of disorders, and the severity can go from one range to the other. Basically, they're large fluid-filled blisters which develop in response to minor trauma to the skin. It's a horrible disease. Good to Mike and Zara for helping to raise money. As usual, a big thank you to Remoulade Sauce for showing us what Zara was wearing. I love that color on her. Let's move on. Next up, we have Prince William. Remember, he's going to be in The Reluctant Traveler with Eugene Levy, and he said something very prophetic. It's coming out this Friday. It's a new clip. It was released this week. I want you to listen to this.
Do you miss your grandmother?
I do, actually, yeah. I do miss my grandmother and my grandfather. Yeah, it's been quite a bit of change. So you do sort of, you think about them not being here anymore.
Yes.
And particularly being in Windsor. For me, Windsor is hers. So she loved it here. She spent most of her time here. showing you around today is very much a case I'm trying to make sure I'm doing it the way she'd want you to see it. She had her horses here as well, as you can imagine, was a big deal for her. So that's why she loved it here.
Now, for those of you who don't know, one of the reasons William and Catherine moved their family to Windsor from London in the summer of 2022 was to spend more time with, the Queen in the later years of her life. But sadly, she died just a few weeks later. And now the family feels at home on the estate, so they've chosen to, stay there. Now, sticking with William, he did some investitures at Windsor Castle on Tuesday, and one of the people that he invested was Sirius Black. You remember him? That's Oscar-winning actor Gary Oldman. He's done a lot of different TV series. But anyway, he was knighted by Prince William on Tuesday after he appeared on the King's British Honours List this past summer. Now, of course, Harry Potter is the role a lot of people remember him for, but also a show called Slow Horses. He's being recognized for his services to drama. This is something apparently he's been wanting for a long time, and he made a very telling comment about it in 2024. During an interview with the BBC, he mentioned that he had not been given the honor by the royals. He said, "I don't know why. You should ask them. No nod from the royals, but there we are. Maybe it's in my future." Now, this knighthood is believed to be special for him. He received an Oscar in 2018 for Best Actor, and this was a result of his performance as Prime Minister Sir Winston Churchill in the World War II drama Darkest Hour. Now, when he got his Academy Award 7 years ago, he said, "I've wanted this since I became an actor." So, anyway, he came out, he showed up his ward. It's everything he ever wanted. And then he gave a little bit of an interview. I love the fact that William told him he was a fan, and also that this guy goes, "Here I am, I'm booted and suited. I clean up pretty good." I like this guy. I really do. Congratulations to him. He just, listen, he earned it. He deserved it. Why not? Another person who was invested the same day was Dr. Samantha Morton. She was made an Officer of the Order of the British Empire by William at Windsor for recognizing services to drama and charity. All right, let's move on to Prince Andrew. Both he and Sarah were both torn apart live on GB News. There was a big discussion about the fact that they would not be going to Christmas this year. And apparently the royal families don't want the Yorks for Christmas. And guest show Christopher Biggins said, "Is it true you have invited them to yours?" I mean, of course, they've gone through so much, the Yorks, it's painful. But I think it's almost like if they were relatives of mine, I don't think I'd want them either. They're perfectly sweet. I've met her on numerous occasions. She's lovely. But all these facts coming out, I think Charles has had enough in a way, and I fully understand why he's done what he's done. And the woman Ellie replied, "Well, I was reading today that he wants them to be part of the family, but he wants them to be invisible." I don't see how that can happen, but okay. The big question is, what about Beatrice and Eugenie? Now, with all of this talk about Andrew and Sarah, Prince Andrew was actually seen out with his grandchildren. He took them to the Harry Potter set, the same Harry Potter set that Catherine took her children to. He took his grandchildren. And people are like, "Oh, look, he's out and about." Well, of course he's out and about. They were looking at the Hogwarts Express, and they were looking at the set. I mean, I don't understand. Do they expect him to just sit in his house all day? Because I kind of get the feeling that's what people expect. Now, in the meantime, they're saying that Sarah is absolutely bracing because there's going to be crunch talks at the City of York Council meeting in November. They want the York titles stripped from Andrew and Sarah. Now, a lot of people said, "Oh, she's got her HRH." She doesn't. Thanks to a letters patent by Queen Elizabeth, as soon as you divorce, you lose your HRH. It's gone. So now the title that they actually have is the Freedom of the City of York title, and they want that stripped. It was given as a wedding gift in 1987. It was already been removed from Andrew in 2022. Now they want it removed from Sarah. All right, moving on. You guys remember Spitting Image? Well, they're back, and now they're taking aim at Harry, Andrew, and Sarah. I mean, there's just no end to this, but it is funny. Listen to this.
This is Diary of a Principled, Ethical, Dynamic Organizer. Got an email here from Andrew Prince at hotmail.com. He asks, what is the average day-to-day like for a sexy, non-sweaty, high-performance, pizza-loving prince like you? Well, thanks for asking. Great question from Andrew there. Well, spring out of bed at 11 a.m. I make a point of always rising before noon, unless it's a weekday. It's important to stay in touch with the markets. I recommend Homes Under the Hammer. It's fascinating that people actually pay for their homes. So, find Daria for PDO wherever you get your podcasts. Next week I'll be talking about how to deal with intrusive journalists with my good friend Mohammed bin Salman.
That brings us nicely onto the Rest is Bullshit's book club. And I'll start with this great new book that my Auntie Fergie sent me.
Geoffrey, the little kiddie fiddler? What's it about?
It's a tale of our times, a story of supreme friendship, appalling lack of judgment, and knowing when to turn a blind eye. Basically, it's about greed and stupidity.
Story of my life.
What about you, Pads?
The last thing anyone read to me was my rights.
Don't forget, you can watch this show on YouTube. All right, next up, a story came out basically saying that, Harry was asked specifically and directly by the king, stop leaking. You know what this all sounds like to me? It sounds more and more like they're trying to get Harry to take the blame for the break with the royal family. I mean, let's be honest. Harry always wanted out. He just used Meghan to get out. And it's on Harry, his quest for justice from the cruel, British royal family. Maybe Meghan is dripping poison in his ear, but Harry's the one doing the attacks. So I have no trouble believing that Charles told Harry to stop attacking the family and telling false stories about them. And the article also said Meghan repeat that Harry wants an apology from Charles and William for whatever they did that offended them, which of course we know is never going to happen. You know what this is. What Harry is essentially saying is, you know what you did, and I know now why you did it, and you've been caught, so just come clean. And he will never admit that he's done anything wrong. And with that, I have to say that I completely agree with this article, which says that Harry, quote, never takes responsibility for anything. He portrays himself and Meghan as victims constantly, and he can't be trusted. And in the meantime, the Duchess of Sussex is reduced to putting up posts on Instagram to prove to people that she has friends. Apparently, she had a game night, okay? She played mahjong, okay? Do you know how many people around the world get together with their friends and play mahjong? But every time she does something like this, she takes pictures and posts it because she really has to show everybody that she does have friends. They do come over. We do play games. We do hang out. I'm not shut up in here by myself. I have friends. These posts of hers show a level of desperation that I can't even, fathom. All right, I wasn't going to cover this, but okay, I'm going to cover it. Apparently, in 2019, Andrew got £750,000 from Nebahat Isbalin, who is a Turkish millionaire and wife of a former leading politician. And they claimed in a high court she was told by her financial advisor, Selman Turk, to pay that sum to Andrew in return for assistance with a passport application. It was later claimed in court documents this was a false representation, and Isbalin is now suing Turk in high court, alleging he defrauded her. So one of the senior aides of Andrew told bankers that the cash payment to the prince was for daughter Beatrice's wedding. You got to give the Daily Mail their dues. They apparently got a transcript of the phone call, and in the call, the bankers asked what the purpose was of this money, and it was said that it was a gift for the wedding. And apparently, Beatrice had no idea any of this was going on. Don't forget, she married in a private ceremony in Windsor in 2020. Now, these articles, by the way, are from 3 years ago, but this stuff is all coming up again because people are looking into Andrew and his past behavior. It looks like he's always been a spoiled, entitled jerk, but now it's all coming to light, all of it together. All right, let's move on to our bigger story for today. Oh, this is really sad. Okay, so what happened is, we know Thomas Markle moved to the Philippines with his son, Thomas Markle Jr., who's taking care of him. Apparently, there was a massive earthquake, and it would appear that Thomas Markle is trapped in his apartment on the 19th floor. It's a high-rise apartment block, and he can't get out. This was confirmed by Samantha Markle. She apparently wrote something about it on X. There was a 6.7 magnitude earthquake in the area, and people have been encouraged to move inland as a result. I think we all know that Megan, if people are like, oh, she's going to reach out. No, she's not. I mean, the man had a massive stroke, couldn't speak, almost died, and Meghan Markle didn't reach out to him. He had his heart attacks. He was in the hospital having stents placed, and Meghan Markle didn't reach out to him. I mean, it's just not going to happen, you guys. It's really sad, and she's a jerk for not letting him meet his grandchildren. And I mean, I don't know what else you can possibly say about this entire situation. It's terrible. Let me also remind you, it was at this time, while Thomas Markle was only like a couple of hours away, Meghan Markle got on a private jet and flew round trip to Uvalde to pose in front of the graves after the mass shooting of those children. She basically took what happened to those kids and she made it all about herself. No other A-list stars went there at that time. None, except for Matthew, what was his name? McConaughey or whatever his name was, because his mother lived there and he grew up there. Everybody else stayed away. But no, not Meghan. Her father's laying in a hospital after having a massive stroke, and she decides it's more good to go to Uvalde, make sure to bring her own crew of photographers, take pictures, and put them out to the media. Remember, Meghan did all this to show people she has compassion, but for me, this just proves the adage that she's a tragedy tourist. I have to tell you, a lot of parents were very upset when she pulled this stunt, especially because we know she was doing it to try to get attention. She brought her own photographers with her. The Netflix crew was there taking pictures of her. She walked back and forth in front of the crosses multiple times because she wanted to make sure that they got the pictures of her looking bereft and bereaved. Look at me. I'm so loving and caring. I just don't know what to do. And a lot of people said that she didn't bring her own photographers with her, but she actually did, because when she was done and she went to leave, the photographers that were with her actually ran after her to get into the vehicle so that they could go with her to the next stop, which of course she did what she usually does. She went and visited some of the families that were having tragedy, took the pictures, took the videos, saved it, and then of course put it out later on, her typical MO. My point is, guys, if she didn't care enough about her father having a heart attack and a stroke, she's not going to care if he was in the middle of an earthquake and is trapped on the 19th floor. She could care less. She really could. Don't hold your breath. Now, we're going to finish this video on an upside. There have been a lot of memes coming out. They're absolutely hilarious. Some have sound. So I'm going to play these for you, and I hope you enjoy them. Here we go.
Let's go. I wake up to a little bit of drool on my pillow, feel like it's gonna be a bad day. Yeah, I'm tired of shit, and the coffee ain't hit yet, damn, ain't that great. I don't wanna go to work, cause my boss is a jerk, and I'm not even that paid. I need a change in my life, cause I don't feel alive, and there's nothing that makes me happy. Hold my beer for a minute, I'm about to quit my job, cash in for a ticket. I'm going on a trip, and I don't plan to visit, I'm gonna stay there till
pantyhose all the time. Let's be honest, that was not very myself.
Oh my goodness, you guys know what I'm looking for. Put your comments down and then hit the like and the subscribe button and the bell for all notifications. Then go down into the description box where you'll find the link to my Twitter, my Gettr, my Rumble, my email, a link to my second channel, a link to my father's book, which is still up for sale on Amazon, a link to my Amazon wishlist, as well as a physical address. For those of you who have donated to my coffee fund, thank you so much. And as always, you guys, have a great day.